Yeah, hey, hello out there. This is LL3's third podcast, actually episode number 3, forgive me. And this is Craig, and I am right now outside hanging out in the swampy mangroves of South Florida. Just kicking back. It's, mostly cloudy, but, it's all good. Pretty positive. Hang out in the back patio. And today I'd like to really read an article and discuss about the first anniversary of the horrific event that happened in Newton, Connecticut, which is the Newton School shooting, which occurred at Sandy Hook Elementary. It's a very, very horrific event. And one thing I always question is the ones that want to manifest or benefit from it. And I hear a lot of doublespeak, from so-called gun control activists, our president, and you have people out there that are plants. Of course, you have the ones that are pro self-defense, but don't really know how to address it. So I just did a little homework. Actually, it was a little bit today from the Palm Beach Post, which was written a while back around 1:38 p.m. on Saturday, December 14th. It's entitled "Bells Toll in Newton School Shooting Victims." And the video had, President Obama marking the anniversary, and he's calling for tighter gun control and expanded mental health care, and stated we haven't yet done enough. Okay, well, this is article. You can look it up. I have it on the link to the title of this episode. And this article is written by John Christopherson by the Associated Press. Bells, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied here. I'm sorry about that. And it states here, bells tolled 26 times to honor the children and educators killed 1 year ago in a shooting rampage at Sandy Hook Elementary School as local churches held memorial services Saturday, and President Barack Obama observed a moment of silence. With snow falling and homes decorated with Christmas lights, Newton looked every bit the classic New England town with a coffee shop and general store doing steady business. But reminders of the private grief were everywhere. God bless the families, read the sign posted at one house in the green and white colors of the Sandy Hook School. And the church posted that it was open for prayer. Ryan Nags, a chef who lives in Newton, said that as the bells tolled, he thought the 2 young victims who played soccer with his 7-year-old daughter. The echoes of the bells, knowing some of the children personally, you feel exactitude, which each bell, the exactitude of loss and grief, Nag said. The bells rang 26 times at St. Rose of Lima Church in Newton beginning at 9:30 a.m. the moment the gunman shot his way into the school on the December 14th, 2012, and the named victims were read over the loudspeaker. Connecticut's governor had asked for bells to ring across Connecticut and directed that flags be lowered to half-staff. In Washington, the President and First Lady Michelle Obama lit 26 votive candles set up on a table in the White House map room, one for each 20 children and 6 educators. In his weekly radio address released hours earlier, Obama said the nation hasn't done enough to make its community safer by keeping dangerous people from getting guns and healing troubled minds. Gun restrictions backed by the president in response to the shooting faced stiff opposition and ultimately stalled in the Democrat-controlled Senate. We have to do more to keep dangerous people from getting hands on a gun so easily. We have to do more to heal troubled minds. We have to do everything we can to protect our children from harm and make them feel loved and valued and cared for, Obama said. Anniversary observances were held around the country, including Tucson, Arizona, where a former Congresswoman, Gabriel Giffords, and her husband were planting a yellow rose bush in a memorial garden created after the 2011 shooting that nearly killed her. Gifford's husband, Mark Kelly, said it is important to pause and support families of the Newtown victims. The Newtown asked for quiet and privacy on the anniversary. Starlight television trucks filled Newton streets in the day after the shooting, and media have often returned since to the community of 28,000 people for stories related to the attack. In an effort to keep anniversary focused on the quiet reflection, First Selectman E. Patricia Lordra, announced in October that Newton would not host any formal remembrance event. The news media were asked to keep their distance, and no media signs went up around town as they did in weeks after the tragedy. Some news organizations stayed away Saturday from Newtown. A reporter and photographer for the Associated Press, whose reports are available to media worldwide, were present in the community, and some town people were willing to share their thoughts. Andrew Snow, a mechanic who was drinking coffee at the general store with a friend, said it was an especially difficult day. You kind of hope the town can put it behind without actually forgetting about the victims, said Snow, who grew up in Newton and is moving back from nearby Southbury to support the community. But it is not easy to do. I think about it every day. The gunman Anam Lanza shot and killed his mother inside their Newton home before driving to school and took his own life as police arrived. Always look at these articles in good faith. It was very horrific, and a lot of folks that have passion. However, when you have some figureheads believe we gotta make stricter laws upon our rights, I find that a catch-22. It may sound good, but the fine print was really questionable. And that's why I always have to look at it as how come you want to do things the more to heal a wound with a Band-Aid instead of forgive me here, folks. I'm just a little bit disturbed. To do more than just maybe try to heal with a Band-Aid instead of treating it completely. One thing I have to really say on this is, one, you don't hear anything about Big Pharma questioning a lot of these shooters on these psychotropic prescription drugs. There was a report that Anam Lanza was on Fanac, which is considered a suppressive drug. And what it does, I read some of the side effects from drugs.com. You know that Fanac gives you violent tendencies, plus make your testicles ache if you're a man, or your crotch. Excruciating pain. Why on earth do you have to have a person like that taking these prescriptive drugs? And how come you don't hear about our political figurehead going after Big Pharma, or the mainstream news talking about it? I find that pretty cowardly in my view. However, it's very tragic, and I do have my unconditional condolences and sympathies to all the victims' heirs, and to the ones that died. May their souls be forever free. And here's a video on that, on Obama's Mark Newtown shooting anniversary. Let's see if we go online here. Check it out. Sorry about that. Maybe getting difficulty, but you can watch the video. I got it linked on this page, and let's go a little bit more through here. It's really interesting too, because when they talk about when they really addressed the whole thing with what happened in Arizona, okay, with Gabriel Giffords and her husband Mark Kelly, which like I'm very glad she's okay, and that's another disturbing moment because it was a tragedy when you think about it, a terrorist attack, in my view. However, one thing you don't hear about is Arizona Chief U.S. District Judge John M. Rowe, who was murdered on that horrific day in Tucson, Arizona. And if you do your homework, he presided the case for which is actually Sheriff Mack and Sheriff Prince versus the United States of America. And he favored that the Brady Act is considered unconstitutional based on the 10th Amendment clause. Because the way the language was written, that they have to go and the state has to pay its own fund to honor this law. Definitely look it up. I know I talked about this a while back. And that's one thing I questioned. Was this killer going after John M. Rowe instead of Gabriel Giffords? So that's how I, have to really question that. But the whole thing with Newtown, what's been going on for a long time, is just one of the things that really disturbs me is that what happened in Newton or Sandy Hook Elementary School occurred at Virginia Tech, Columbine High School, the Aurora Theater, and the airplanes on 9/11. What do they have in common? They occurred in firearm-free zones. That's one thing. I'm not saying just go on giving everyone guns, but those institutions or entities should always have to think the bigger picture. No one hasn't really learned on practicing self-defense. That's what really gets my goat, because I can give you a little rundown, a little story. This happened almost 20 years ago at Cape Town, South Africa, which is titled the St. James Church Massacre, and which they had like over 1,000 people in mass on a Sunday night around July 25th, when a bunch of armed men kicked in the door. They threw grenades into the church, and there was reports that it was the grenades themselves were taped up by shrapnel or nails to make a big impact. And during that time, when it went through, they cleared